Hello there, and you are there, and I am here, and this is Killin Time, and just another, video from the backlog, the time we've missed whilst we've had a little time away. So, as is always the format with these, we just want to look at a claim that was made by, again this time, Miss Sandra Leans. Look at something she said, then look at the reality behind it. So today I want to tackle the testimony and the alibi provided by Luke Mitchell's brother Shane. Ms. Lean does make a lot of claims in her podcast appearances with regards to Shane and his understanding of not only the process but issues that he'd had and his dealings with the police, and I'll go into a bit of that, but I do think that's all just obviously, what's the word for it, kind of like a accoutrement to the overall basic, good old fashioned lie that she tells to begin with. So what we'll do is we'll play a clip from James English that she done a little while ago. Maybe another couple of clips as well, depending on where my thought process goes with this whilst I'm having a little talk about it. But for now, let's have a look at the initial kind of bigger claim that we can really break down.
What was his alibi?
That he was at home cooking dinner.
And his brother was there as well?
No, his brother was working. Luke made the dinner for his mum and his brother because he was first in from school. Can he back that alibi up other than his mum and his brother? To an extent, yes, because phone calls were made from and received on the landline. And we can prove for certain where his mother was, and it was not at home, and we can prove for certain where his brother was, and it was not at home. So somebody had to be in the house making calls and receiving calls on that landline.
There we go, guys. Pretty straightforward. Why are we even having this discussion anymore? Someone had to be in the house because there was phone calls being made. You know? That's obvious. Why? I have been wasting all these months. It's like it's just fell into place. Oh, wait a minute. That's a lie. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at Shane's actual testimony, not all word for word obviously because we can't get verbatim unfortunately. We'll look at the conversation between himself and Alan Turnbull QC, some of the things that were covered in there, look at how these differentiate from what Sandra has said, and I'll also go as far as to use common sense in arguing against what she said as well, because it's not possible. But we'll go into that, because some of that is about old technology. First though, let's look at a little news piece about the testimony from Shane at the time. So, here we have a news piece from The Scotsman, printed in 2005. Thankfully the internet saves us all. We don't have to try and find paper copies. Technology, let's talk about it. So, the main headline there obviously reading, Luke's brother admits mum aided evidence. The brother of Jodie Jones' murder accused Luke Mitchell today admitted discussing his police statement with his mother before telling police Luke was in the family house on the day the schoolgirl was killed. So, Shane obviously admitted that his mum had tainted, so to speak, his statement. Let's look a little bit more at it. Obviously that's just a byline, so let's go into a wee bit more detail here. In a statement given to police on July 7th, 2003, Shane Mitchell said he had recalled seeing his brother in the kitchen, quote, mashing tatties. The High Court in Edinburgh heard that his mother had given the statement the previous day, also claiming that Luke was in the kitchen that evening, cooking pies and mashing potatoes. but the jury previously heard that when Shane was questioned by police on April 14th of last year, he had said he had not seen Luke in the house that evening on June 30th, 2003, and he had been looking at pornography on his computer in his bedroom. So, Advocate Alan Turnbull QC, prosecuting, read section of Shane's statements from July 7th to the jury. In his statement, he told police that he'd remembered his mother's car being in the driveway and the front door being open. Now, we'll go through how this doesn't add up to what Sandra's saying, but there's quite a big one there. Hope you've noticed that one. His statement continued. I went into the hallway and shouted out, and then went upstairs to the bathroom to wash my hands. About 5 minutes later, I came straight back down. When I was in the bathroom, I left the door open. Afterwards, I went downstairs into the living room, then into the kitchen. Luke was standing at the cooker mashing tatties. Would you know? Why are you doing the cooker? Anyway, I could smell burnt steak pies, and I did not mention the smell because I did not want to insult him. I'm just going to say this here, right? I know it's totally unrelated, but if I smell someone burning pies in my oven, I'm going to tell them, get the pies out the oven, you're burning my dinner. I don't care about insulting them, they're burning my dinner. Anyway, he was pretty happy I spoke to him. Then my mother, this is Shane, sorry, we'll go back to Shane. He was pretty happy. I spoke to him and then my mother. That was the first time I had seen my mother that day, and I was talking to her about how they had been. The court heard that Shane went upstairs to log on to his computer, but was called down for dinner by Luke 5 minutes later. It's all getting confusing with what Sandra's saying, isn't it, guys? Mr. Turnbull asked Mr. Mitchell, I want to understand how it came to be that you made this reference to the police about mashing tatties. Mr. Turnbull then read out to the court the section of Mrs. Mitchell, that's Corinne, Luke's mum, Mrs. Mitchell's statement given on the previous day to Shane's. She said in her statement, when I got home, Luke was in the kitchen first of all. Luke then strained the potatoes and mashed them. At that point, I think Shane came in, and I could smell the pies in the oven, and I asked one of them to take them out, commenting that Luke had overdone them. So one doesn't want to comment, one did comment. Alright, fair enough. Mr. Turnbull then asked Mrs. Mitchell. Now, I'm going back to that one. I'm going back to that one. I'm sorry, I can't let that go. So, if Shane didn't want to offend him by saying that, the pies were being burned, but his mum did tell him, then why did Shane not say, but my mum mentioned it? There is a reason for that, but just think about it. So Mr. Turnbull then asked Mr. Mitchell, when you came to give your statement the very next day, it includes reference to you saying that Luke was mashing the tatties and there being a burning smell. Mr. Mitchell agreed. Mr. Turnbull then asked, how can it be that you gave information to the police which was incorrect and then gave information about mashing tatties and burnt pies? Before you gave that statement, did you discuss with anyone what you should say to police? Mr. Mitchell replied, in a way. Mr. Turnbull said, who? And Mitchell replied, my mother. Mr. Mitchell then admitted that he had been affected by the discussion with his mother. If it had not been for that discussion with your mother, would you have been able to have given any of this evidence to police? Mr. Turnbull asked. Not really, replied Mr. Mitchell. Asked what his mother had said to him after giving her statement, Mr. Mitchell replied, she said to me, you came in and Luke was with us and we had tatties for dinner and then you went back out again. Mr. Mitchell told the court that he was extremely shaken when he had gave his statement to police. Luke Mitchell denies murdering Jodie on June 30th, 2003 at Woodland area near Ronsdyke Path between Newbattle and East Houses areas of Dalkeith. The trial continues. So, looking at that, there's a lot of things there that don't match up with what Sandra Leans said, but the one thing obviously that really sticks out, and it's a bit sensationalist in that sense, so the papers were able to grab onto it quite easy and really put that on the kind of forefront, the stories being told there, is it's here. Here are we. He had been looking at pornography on his computer in his bedroom. Now, let's have another look at a couple of quick details about that, and then I'll go into a little bit more explanation as to everything that doesn't make sense here and why what Sandra Leans is promoting is a lie. Okay, right. Next. So here we are with another news piece at the time. Just want to go through this one as well, a wee bit more detail in terms of some of the differences, shall we say. So the Herald here, Jodie Trill, essentially the quote here is about the porn admission. So let's go through this one as well. The brother of the teenager accused of killing Jodie Jones thought that he was alone in the house on the afternoon of her death, a court heard yesterday. Shane Mitchell, 23, told the High Court he arrived at the family home just before 5 p.m, about 50 minutes after his brother, Luke. Luke answered a call from his mobile phone to the house landline. Mr. Mitchell said that he then watched internet pornography in his bedroom and masturbated. Luke Mitchell's alibi claims that he was at home between 5 p.m. and 5:45 that day. His brother, a mechanic, told the court he did not remember seeing or hearing anyone until his mother arrived home from work a short time after 5:16 p.m. Alan Turnbull QC Advocate Deputy said Shane Mitchell what he was doing during the internet session. He said he's not bad. The lawyer then confronted him with photographs of Jodie's mutilated body. Shane Mitchell was visibly shocked and asked for a break. He sat down and drank from a glass of water. "You look a bit horrified," said Mr. Turnbull. "They're not pleasant, I know, but the reason I've asked you to look at these is so you can appreciate what you're dealing with. I can't let embarrassment stand in the way of getting to the bottom of this." Mr. Mitchell, referring to the internet pictures, agreed that he would not normally look at such graphic images had anyone else been in the home. He added he thought he masturbated at the time. You thought. Mr. Turnbull said, "Would you have been content to have watched this sort of pornography in that room without a lock on the door and to have masturbated if someone else was in the house?" "No," he said. Accordingly, who did you think was in the house? Mr. Mitchell replied, "No one at the time." He added he did not hear music being played in Luke's bedroom or the dining room. "If you had done, you would have recalled you weren't alone," said Mr. Turnbull. "We come then to where we were a wee while ago, which is when you went on the computer to access pornography sites, you thought the house was empty." "Yes," came the answer. Mr. Turnbull asked, "I want you to reflect on the question whether Luke was there when you went downstairs. Do you think he was there?" "I don't know," he said. The court heard that Luke Mitchell gave a statement to police on June 4th, 2003, claiming he'd had dinner with his mother, but not his brother, before leaving to meet Jodie that evening. He had previously told police that he was at home until 5:30 or 5:40 p.m. Luke Mitchell, 16, denies murdering Jodie with a knife or similar instrument on June 30th, 2003, and has lodged 2 special defences of alibi and incrimination. He claims that there, at the time, he was in or around his house in Newbattle Abbey Crescent, Dalkeith, and Jodie was murdered by a person or persons unknown. The trial continues. So we've had a look at two pieces with a wee bit more information than what we got from Sandra Leans' claim. So let's compare them all and discuss what's going on here. Wrap this little screening up here. Okay, moving on. Now, during the court proceedings themselves, there was experts on the stand, that gave evidence in terms of the websites that were accessed between 5 to 5 and just a little bit after all the internet session going all the way up to about 16 minutes past 5. There was, of course, other websites that were looked at in that what would have been about 20 minutes or so. However, Shane did admit to obviously looking at pornography. Now, people can try and dress this up all they want, and I do see them doing it. It was a car website and there was some porn on the website. What a bunch of bollocks. He admits to going on pornographic websites. Stop. He admitted it. You are arguing against yourself. Shane Mitchell admitted it in court. Okay, he was masturbating. And he thought he was on his own. Now, the reason he thought he was on his own is because he shouted out. He said, he looked for people. He was in and around. This whole idea that, can you say if Luke was in the kitchen? I don't know. Does he suddenly turn opaque? I mean, he was there or he wasn't there. Now, if you're going to say, I don't know, then that's a no. Because otherwise it's a yes. He would be there. The confusion between he cooked me dinner, I didn't cook him dinner, he was there for dinner, Corrine tells him he was there for dinner, Luke tells the police he wasn't there for dinner. Now, in all the Luke's Army's rants about change statements, what about this one, guys? Who made the ties? Who ate the ties? Who was in the house to begin with? None of that makes sense. So if you want to talk about statements changing and not matching up, there's one right there. Again, Luke Mitchell's alibi does not hold up. And Sandra Lean and Scott Forbes have made a very, very good play at pulling wool over eyes here. If you have any form of intellect, you would be able to look into this and see that this is a lie. But again, as I say in every video, if you're still falling for their bullshit, really can't help you. To kind of go a bit further as well, this idea that, we can prove what's happening because there's phone calls made to a house. Fantastic. Doesn't prove who answered that phone. Even if the phone calls were made, which I doubt and I'll go into, it doesn't prove that anyone answered that phone that you want to. Shane could have been in the house. Shane could have answered that phone. Doesn't mean it was Luke. That is not proof. That is not proof. It's not. It's just, you need a camera on top of the phone to show that it was them that answered the phone. You would. There's just no other way of proving it. To say someone answered the phone, wow, could be anybody, could be a neighbour, could be a cat knocked it off, it doesn't matter. It's the same idea as this, there's proof that Luke liked to call the speaking clock, and that doesn't prove that he wasn't out that day. That doesn't prove that he didn't kill Jodie because he likes to call the speaking clock, and there's proof that he done it all that. Is there really? Shut up. What an absolute bunch of shit. The other one as well, there's a claim of two separate things, the CCTV. I'll get into all that because Ms. Lean actually did shoot down quite a lot of my video, and lo and behold, it comes back some of the points that she shot down with. It's all her made up shit, so I'm going to go through all that and prove her wrong there as well. Honestly, could have just left it be. But anyway, so the other thing I want to talk about here is the idea that, you know, phone calls are being made when Shane's on the internet, because it's impossible. Now, if it was the mobile that Luke was making calls from and receiving calls from at the time between 5 to 5 and 5:15, then absolutely. But you cannot receive phone calls or make phone calls on a landline if someone was using the internet at the time, because dial-up internet would take over the phone line. There was no way, unless you had two separate phone lines, of having a working phone and using the internet at the same time in those days. Obviously it's different now, dial-up's away, we don't have that horrible noise and the 9 attempts to actually try and get online. But I mean, it's not that long ago, people of my generation and maybe, you know, slightly younger will remember the issues that came with dial-up internet, and they'll know themselves. I don't have to really say this, but you know that you cannot do a phone call and the internet at the same time. That's impossible. Why even try to pretend that that's possible, Mr. Forbes, Ms. Lean? Why? Why try to pretend? It's just not possible. However, they like to dress up, and I don't actually think they understand technology either. I don't think they understand how these things work. I really don't. The other things we look at here, of course, so Sandra Lean is quite adamant that, you know, how can you put it, that Shane is backing up Luke. However, we know from not only reading what we've read there, but the actual, at the time, Shane Mitchell's testimony was one of the reasons that Luke's alibi fell apart. So he wasn't backing Luke at all. And, you know, I mean, put it this way as well, I know a lot of people in the comments have said similar things to Sandra in the past, but where is Shane Mitchell and is it Philip Mitchell, Luke Mitchell's dad? Where are they in terms of support? Nowhere, because they are of the firm belief that their relative is a murderer. And I mean, if I'm wrong, I would absolutely do. Yep, you know, Shane, Philip, you're quite. Message me privately. I will not even say anything. I will give you a public apology if I am wrong, and that is it. However, I do not believe I'll receive any messages from Shane Mitchell or Philip Mitchell, because I am a firm belief that they know Luke Mitchell is guilty, and the reason that they've not come forward to say anything is because they don't want anything to do with the stress or the guilt by association, or maybe even just anything to do with the guy at all, because he's an evil murderer. There we go. So, this belief that, you know, there's an alibi there, still being touted by Sandra Lean through these podcasts, but there is no alibi, guys, and this needs to be quashed once and for all. She needs to stop lying. She needs to stop lying. If you want any chance of Luke being found innocent, or for like independent reviews, which there's already been one, by the way, but if you want any kind of things like that, then probably best not to tell porkies in every single appearance that you have. There is no alibi. Shane Mitchell did not back up an alibi. Did not. Shane Mitchell's alibi for Luke did not match up with Luke's alibi for himself, and that did not match up with Corinne's alibi for Luke and Shane. So, again, go back to that change statements, guys. Explain it. You can. So, this is just a quick one with this. I really, there's probably a lot more that I can do in terms of shorts for this. But reality is, I want to know why it is that people fall for this when it's quite easy to research. It really is. It's common knowledge that Shane Mitchell basically put Luke Mitchell in where he is by not backing his alibi. He was one of the main reasons that all fell apart. So this revisionist history just won't work. It just won't work. It's not real. It's a lie. And I'm calling you out, Ms. Lean. I'm calling you out. You're lying. Explain it. Why are you lying? Why does your story not match up with Kareen's story, which doesn't match up with Luke's story, which didn't match up with Shane's story? Explain it. Let's do a wrap up. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video and listen to this point. I imagine you probably, a lot of people that were listening knew that this was the case, that of course Shane Mitchell wasn't an alibi for his brother. However, when you look at the several appearances from Ms. Lean, she continues to promote this. That of course Kareen and Shane were able to back Luke's alibi. Now we know that's not true. It's just not true. It's a lie. A lie that of course, on the James English podcast, it was one of the first points that was really brought up. So right away we're starting with revisionist history and lies when it comes to promoting innocence. Now, that again, it's not a good look as far as I'm concerned, but what do you guys think? At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure you all know, in terms of, the alibi itself. So why is it that we can just change this altogether? And why does Ms. Lean and Mr. Forbes think that, well, not so much Mr. Forbes, because we've not got him on here, but why does she think that she could just make up stuff? I thought she was supposed to be a professional and a criminologist, so just to try and change things, we can read, there's a lot of other news reports, and guys, please have a look for them. You'll see ones with the experts on stand, talking about the time that Shane was on the internet, which again, I think is 5 to 4 to 16 minutes past 5. And again, these things are tracked, the pages were tracked, everything is known. Everything is known. So I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why, because they're liars and they are trying to make a career out of these lies. Keep themselves in the limelight, get you some books sold. Hey, you want to buy a t-shirt? Buy my merch. That's basically what it is turned into, as a profit-making exercise for Ms. Lean and Mr. Forbes. I will like to discuss Mr. Forbes' claim of a £10,000 ring fenced by a businessman and all that stuff, because he's went into great detail on that in some podcasts. Contradicted himself a couple of times as well, but surprise. So what I'm going to do is, as I say, just some more points like this. We'll do them as when I see fit. If there's anything you would like me to discuss, whether it's like, go find the news pieces themselves, if there's any questions you have about the alibi or anything like that, please leave your comments in the comment section below. It'd be interesting to see what the guys, especially across the pond in the US that we have subscribed, it'd be good to know, is there little kind of knowledge bits missing from yourself as well? What would you like to know? So leave it in the comments below. Other than that, I don't know, let's make do another random one. What's your favourite film? Put that in the comments below. Also, consider following us on, is it X now, isn't it? I hate saying that. Follow us on X and Facebook. Of course, subscribe to the channel and leave us a little sarcastic thumbs up. We'll be back soon with another couple of points. I've got that many, I don't know what's coming up next. So keep a little eye out for that. As I say, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. I know there's a little notification bell as well. We'll be doing a couple of these videos in the future.
with live, so to speak. Attila, you're here. Hi, Attila. Attila put up a comment asking if anyone was around during the last video, and as I said to him then, and I'll say to you guys now, I'll be starting to screen some of these live, so to speak, so I'll be in the comment section itself, but probably not with this one, guys, because it's a Sunday, isn't it? And I don't want to anger the gods. So yeah, again, leave us a sarcastic thumbs up. Consider following us on X and Facebook. Sarcastic thumbs up. Absolute. See, these wrap-ups get messier every single time. Anyway, leave a comment in the section below. Do not be a Derek and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.